Yes, now you can share.
Okay, thank you very much. Is it visible for?
Yes, it's visible. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Sin. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Dr. Ryosuke Nakajima from Japan. I'm a management consultant at PwC, adjunct professor and dean at several colleges in Tokyo, Japan, and postdoctoral researcher at Eudoxia Research University. Before I begin, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to Dr. Sin, Dr. Connor, and conference committee members for giving me this opportunity again. I'm honored to present my latest research titled Bridging the AI Governance Gap, Evaluating the Effectiveness of Transparency Tools and Ethics Boards in Multinational Firms. This research builds upon my previous study, the Generative AI Governance Paradox. So here's my agenda today. First, the objective and hypothesis of this study. Next, I will briefly review the literature and the method I employed. After that, I will present the key findings and wrap up with the conclusion. I will also mention the future directions and recommendations as well. Okay, so firstly, let me move on to the research objectives part. As you all know, generative AI has revolutionized the innovation landscape. However, its adoption is moving faster than governance mechanisms, which are meant to ensure responsible use. So we are facing increasing challenges around transparency, ethical accountability, and compliance as well. This gap between innovation and oversight forms the foundation of this research. In my prior research, I defined this dilemma as the generative AI governance paradox. It means the struggle to drive AI innovation while still maintaining severe corporate oversight. Many firms implement tools for ethics and compliance, but often these are just symbolic or insufficient. This paradox continues to deepen as adoption grows. This study had three main objectives. First, to identify what transparency tools and oversight structures multinational firms are actually using. Second, to evaluate their effectiveness in addressing governance risks, such as bias or non-compliance. And third, to reveal best practices that balance innovation with accountability. So let's move on to the research hypothesis part. My hypothesis was just clear. Firms that use formal transparency tools like explainable AI, audits, and documentation, combined with empowered AI ethics boards, will show significantly fewer ethical and regulatory issues. I believe these tools must be deeply embedded into workflows and supported by organizational commitment. On the other hand, symbolic or disconnected mechanisms like advisory only ethics boards or underutilized explainability frameworks would be ineffective at managing risk. I anticipated that such firms would face more frequent regulatory scrutiny, higher reputational risks, and greater public skepticism. So next, literature review. Existing literature identifies major governance challenges such as AI opacity, often referred to as the black box problem, explainable AI, internal audits, and external certifications are among the most commonly proposed solutions. However, these tools have limitations. For instance, explainable AI often offers only partial interpretability, and results may still be too technical for decision makers to act upon. Similarly, ethics boards are widely recommended to embed values into design and development, but one of the study argued that ethics boards risk becoming tool of ethics washing, where companies appear ethics without actually shifting behavior if these boards lack authority. This reveals a clear gap in practice versus principle, necessitating empirical validation of what truly works. So let's move on to the research methodology. Regarding the research method, I employed a mixed method research design to ensure a holistic understanding. The qualitative phase involved semi-structured interviews with 30 governance professionals ranging from ethics officers to compliance managers in leading firms across sectors such as technology, finance, and manufacturing. In the quantitative phase, I surveyed 150 multinational firms. I gathered data on their use of transparency tools like explainable AI, internal and external audits, documentation protocols, and the structure and authority level of their AI ethics boards. Statistical techniques, including chi-square test and regression modeling, helped us assess the correlation between these practices and reported governance outcomes. So let me move on to the key findings. The data revealed encouraging trends. 62% of firms reported using explainable AI models in some form, especially in risk-sensitive areas like financial services and healthcare. 48% conducted third-party AI audits annually, often as part of broader ESG or regulatory reporting requirements. And 28% had adapted internal documentation standards like model cards or data sheets for datasets. These tools, when properly implemented and maintained, served as a foundational layer for mitigating governance risks. However, several firms admitted that their explainability models were only used at the prototype stage or for compliance checklist, indicating a gap between adoption and utilization. Regarding ethical oversight, 50% of firms had established formal AI ethics boards. Among these, only 70% had boards with executive level decision making power, while the remaining 30% were advisory bodies with no formal authority. The difference was stark. Firms combining explainable AI with empowered ethics boards, so 48% fewer governance failures, such as bias regarding algorithm, discrimination, or misuse, and were 35% less likely to face formal regulatory investigations. In contrast, advisory-only boards were often marginalized, really consulting on major decisions, and failed to prevent ethical lapses. The qualitative insights reinforce the quantitative findings. Successful firms share three common traits. First, visible leadership commitment, where executives regularly engaged with ethical AI discussions. Second, ethics was embedded from the early stages of product development, not just appended at the end. And third, AI ethics boards were structured to have direct influence over business and technical decisions. In firms where governance outcomes were poor, we found a lack of alignment between tools and strategy. Transparency tools existed, but no one used them. Ethics boards were formed, but without power or participation. This disconnect often led to reactive rather than proactive responses to ethical issues. So let me move on to the conclusion part. The conclusion is clear. Simply adapting tools and forming boards isn't enough. What determines success is how deeply these mechanisms are embedded in the organization's DNA. Integration, empowerment, and accountability are the pillars of effective AI governance. Firms that view AI ethics as a core strategic priority, not just a compliance burden, are significantly more resilient and credible. They're also better positioned to gain trust from regulators, stakeholders, and the public. So, looking ahead, the industry must focus on building robust, enforceable standards that go beyond voluntary guidelines. Sector specific governance models will become essential as risk and use cases vary significantly across industries. Moreover, emerging technologies like blockchain based audit traits or AI self reporting mechanisms could enhance accountability by making decision pathways transparent and immutable. These innovations, coupled with empowered oversight structures, could reshape the future of responsible AI governance. So it was such a short presentation, but thank you very much for your attention. And once again, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to Dr. Sin, Dr. Connor, and conference committee members for giving me this opportunity. I hope this presentation sparked meaningful insights and reflections. Thank you very much once again. That'll be all.